These entrepreneurs are starting at many times at a ground level, like ground zero. They have nothing but an idea, and then you're trying to create something as big as $1 billion company, and you're trying to keep moving in that direction the best they can without getting in trouble. As you look forward, you got to sort of strategize, and what are some of the things you should really be thinking about yourself. Don't just rely on, okay, well, he's a lawyer, he knows all the answers. Well, he's the accountant, he knows all the answers. So whenever, and he's the IP lawyer, so therefore, I just got to call these people up and say, hey, I got a problem, solve it. But that's not how it works in the real world. It's the person who starts the company, has to resolve pretty much all the problems themselves. And they're just using advice to strategize and think about, what is the best way. A lot of it is actually practicality. Obviously the law is a very specialized skill. You have to go to law school and all that, but in the end, it's got to work. And so you got to really understand the situations that your client's in, and also you got to sort of understand the market. So you're dealing with, it's not just a theoretical legal questions. What I do is, these are people who need to make decisions day in, day out, for their company. So I think that's some of the skills I think I learned from UMass Boston here, because it is so grounded in real life versus just theoretical discussions, all the time. And I meet people like Dan Phillips, who didn't attend this school, really had no connection here. And I met him a few times, and when I talked to him, he's got a real passion for this place. It's not just passion for having an entrepreneurial program, but it's passion to have an entrepreneurial program at a public university setting, right in the city. Like many other students at UMass Boston, I was a returning student. I actually went to Cornell University, studied engineering, but hated it. I actually dropped out on my own, and then ended up driving a cab in Boston. And my girlfriend at that point said, you got to go back to school. You're wasting your time. And I decided to go to UMass Boston because it was the cheapest one around, accessible, and I was living in Boston at the time. And my idea was, I'm going to come in here, get about a year under my belt, and transfer out to a so-called better school. But then I realized, oh my God, this is a really good school. And I was really running into really good professors. I got into an honors program. They had some unique classes that they had. One was like on Mozart, and it was being taught by this German professor who loved Mozart. So I would keep finding this hidden gems and finding these unique people. And I just kind of fell in love, and then the thought of transferring sort of was gone. I think a lot of people who are very critical, one way or another, they lack perspective. And liberal arts, I think, in the end, comes down to looking at things from different perspectives. There's a different way of looking at things, and that helps you to understand the world. People just completely lack that, completely, or they just decided to just completely ignore someone else's perspective, because somehow if you did that, you admit that there's some other perspective that you're going to lose. But in the end, I think we all lose. I think that you have a bigger impact if you decide, instead of on the spur of the moment, here's a $10, here's $5, but if you decide on a budget and really focus on either one or two charity, I think that has the biggest, bang for the buck. A few years ago, I had a child and decided that I need to think about my estate planning. And so when I was doing my will, I thought about and had been thinking about giving something back to UMass Boston. So I just asked my lawyer, can I do that? Could I just bequest something? And it was pretty easy to do. It didn't cost me anything extra. I was going to draft that will one way or another anyway. Clearly, need for this university is going to be here probably forever. So I think it's perfectly fine to think about very long term. No one wants to think about about dying, but I think it's completely appropriate to say, look, if I can afford it, and hopefully I can at some point, if you're doing well, I think it's never too early to think about giving. And one of the perks about doing it the way I did it, our bequest, is that you get to join this thing called the Lampas Society. Now, I have never attended any events yet because I'm still waiting for more young people like me, relatively young people, to join. I just hope that we continue to get the public support, the private support, so this university keeps on thriving and getting better.